Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about how I went from being a technician to the CEO of Whitestone. And the reason I think this matters is, one, it can inspire your younger technicians, showing them anything is possible. And two, I also believe that it shows that hands-on experience in this industry very specifically matters a ton as far as taking care of your customers and being able to provide the work quality that we think the customer should have. So the way I got started in this industry was we all started pretty much from the same walk of life. We grew up in a family generally that didn't come from a crap ton of money. We had to fix what we had, and we saw dad, saw papa, or whoever it may be for you out inside the driveway working on a vehicle. And as a kid, your interests are piqued because most kids love cars, and you go over there and you're watching what they're doing, and you start helping them out little by little, and over time you're sitting there and you're helping them work on the trucks right alongside them. That's how I would say, generally speaking, how most people get involved in the industry, is just working in the driveway with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it may be, just changing oil, changing brakes, whatever it may be, working on the tractor in the field. We all pretty much started from that same exact way. When I first started turning wrenches, you could work on cars all day long, changing oil inside of a tire shop. But if you wanted to go into the semi world, when I was 17, 18 years old, the baby boomers were still in the workforce, and then you had my generation, the millennials, coming in, and it required a college degree back then, and you had to go to college to do it. So that was one of the challenges I had going in. And then when I graduated college, it was actually kind of difficult to get a job at that point in time in this industry, believe it or not. Now, today, it's complete opposite, is because this industry is hurting for technicians. And that is like the new struggle in today's economy, and just the way the generations have grown up. Everybody grew up, go to college, and now we're starting to see a shortage of techs here in the workforce as far as turning wrenches. So it's a complete flip on the head compared to what it was when I came into the industry. But yeah, that was my biggest struggle, is I was forced to go to college in order to be able to do this, and that is no longer a thing that exists anymore. What I love about doing the work is that when you take care of a customer, and especially when it's a hard-fought problem that somebody else couldn't fix, and you're able to walk in there and you can figure it out really quickly, and you're able to get the customer back on the road, and they get super excited and super happy that somebody finally figured out the issue. To me, that is a very satisfying feeling that, hey, one, not only was I smart enough to fix it, but I figured out something that other people couldn't figure out, and now that you're going to be their go-to person for taking care of the equipment. I started thinking about leading and managing, honestly, when I worked at my first mobile job after about 2.5, 3 years. About 3 years later, 3.5 years later, I got my first opportunity to step out into my own management, which was me starting my own company. The reason I started my own company was because I had my customers that I was working on approach me and ask me if I'd ever be willing to work on them, as my own individual company. And, if you do your job really well as a tech, companies will bend their rules in order to keep a solid technician on site. Goes back to why I say always take care of your technicians. As far as setting it up in the beginning, I had no mentors, I had no help. It was just me winging it, doing what I thought was right. 7-8 months down the road, I did contact some of my old managers that I thought were valuable back in the day, and asked for advice as I was growing, and they gave it to me, and now they work for me. The second best mentor I would say that I had come along, a guy named Keith. He's the CEO over at Roebling. Yeah, he's been a huge help too. So those are probably two of the biggest people. Is one, my COO Lou, and then Keith. He helped me out a lot financially with him and his team. So in the beginning, the vision behind leading this company was honestly never what it is today. But as I've grown the company, the vision has obviously changed. At first, it was, just get a few guys, make some money, be happy. And then my customers started really liking what I was doing and wanted me to grow to this market, over here, over there. Hey, can you take care of me here? Yeah, that was where it all started as far as me. I mean, that was the vision in the beginning, and now the vision is to, become one of the largest in the country and just keep dominating and taking it over. We were in 3 to 5 states anywhere between 6 and 7 months ago, and now we're in 13 states, and we're rapidly moving across the country in a very rapid succession. And our customers are thrilled with what we're doing. Our technicians that we're onboarding seem to really love what we're doing over here, and we just keep moving forward. Hardest adjustments as far as being the CEO, just dealing with everything financially, managing, your growth. Like, you can't outgrow the money you're bringing in. You don't want to undergrow the money you're bringing, because then you ain't taking care of your customers fast enough, which could make you lose out on opportunities. Also, managing the difference between where you are today to where you're going to be, that's definitely been one of the hardest things, is just managing everything and growing at the same time without going bankrupt, which I am told is literally every company's in this stage's biggest hurdle. And we have been hurdling it very well so far. And we, like I said, we're taking over pretty rapidly, and the team seems pretty happy. So one of the things that I do differently that a lot of people don't do is I carry our values from being a technician into my inner circle at the top. I'm a firm believer you have to take care of your technicians. Always have been, always will be. We have to treat them with the respect they deserve, but we have to treat them very well. Otherwise, they can go anywhere else and turn wrenches, and we want them to be happy here. That when people are not happy, they'll just leave, and I'm a direct result of that also. Me coming from being a technician influences the decisions I make as a CEO every day. Every customer we sign, every employee we hire, every policy that is made, it all comes back from where I was as a technician. Like, everything. Anything and everything you can think of, it all circles back to being as a technician and viewing it from that light. But I also do view it as from a CEO light now too. But yeah, we definitely do still view things from technicians' point of view because we have to. One of the things I wish CEOs understood more about the technician side of the business, I mean, pretty much everything as far as the technician side, because they've never turned, most CEOs have not turned wrenches in this industry as far as being on the ground level. Most of them come from like a sales background or a business management background. So if I was to give encouragement to technicians who want to grow, say, 1, do your job and do it excellent. 2, you're in a mobile truck. You are the closest thing to being an entrepreneur short of having all the bills in your name. So if you can run a truck super effectively, and you can do the work, you can make the money. Now you would just have to learn back-end procedures, the government processes behind it, and you'd also have to be willing to make that sacrifice, being away from your family while you're growing it and dealing with all the stress that comes along with that. But the steps you can take with that would be to, like I said, just work your truck like you own your own business. If you can do that and you can make it profitable and you can do that, that's the closest thing to owning your own business without having the bills. That's what I tell everybody. So that's the first step you can take. And then the second step would obviously be, buying your own truck, getting all your government documents and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the fastest way to, go and start your own thing if anybody ever wanted to. There's definitely a huge risk associated with it, so if you're going to do it, make sure you're extremely confident and that you're not going to fail, because nobody wants to fail. If you just want to be a leader in a smaller way and say you want to lead technicians, just be a likable person, be confident in what you're doing, and help out people whenever they need it, regardless of the time of day. If they need you, be there for them, and people will respect that. Companies can definitely support career growth better. One thing I would say is if somebody is internally in your organization and there is an opportunity for growth, don't hire over. That was one thing that used to upset a lot of people when I was working with technicians, is a new position would open up with a management position in a local area, and instead of asking any of the technicians if they wanted that job, they would just immediately go hire somebody off the streets to do that job instead. That is a double-edged sword, but it's a double-edged sword for the tech to make, because you never know what's going on in that tech's life. Yeah, they might be billing 80, 90 hours a week or whatever and making good money, but they might also have back problems, or they might also be having family problems where their wife wants them home more. So it's a decision for them to make. So put the decision in their hands. Let them make the decision if they want to move up the ladder. So one thing you guys got to remember is great leadership comes from understanding your employees at every role that they perform, whether it is your technician or your managers or your billers. You got to be able to relate to every one of them and be able to work with them and talk to them and understand their problems and help them or give them guidance on how they can resolve those issues. So for everybody that sat through all this, thank you. If you have any feedback, disagree, agree, just throw it down in the comments below, share this. And I look forward to hearing from you guys on our next episode when we talk about the importance of doing a proper lot check.